have a very special guest on Mondays, but today we have a special and lovely guest, all right? Today's guest is Miss Diane Gothard. She's the Vice President of Community Associations over at Danella Realty and Property Management. Welcome, Diane. Thanks for being on the show. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do over for Danella?
Hi there, everybody. I appreciate your having me on. Danella Realty and Management is a medium-sized local real estate corporation. We've been in business for over 30 years. We do third-party management for condominiums and homeowner associations in the Pennsylvania area. We manage over 30 HOAs and condos, 12 commercial sites. We have over 5,000 doors. People may be familiar with the name Danella. We are affiliated with some other Danella companies. There's Danella Construction, who does work for utilities in 12 different states. And then there's Danella Leasing, who does have equipment of cars and cranes in 48 states.
Gotcha. I know one thing is I've seen vehicles, as I say, Danella, and now I'm glad that we put it a little bit together. But it's very interesting that you have a division that is about third-party property management. But that's not where you actually started when it comes to common interest community, isn't it, Diane?
That's correct. I started in this industry in 1989 with Mid-Atlantic Management. Mid-Atlantic Management's corporate office used to be in Plymouth Meeting, which is actually coincidentally right across the street from Danella Construction and Equipment Leasing.
There you go.
So kind of circled back around. But yeah, I was with Mid-Atlantic, started in 1989. I was there for 25 years. I got my AMS there and my PCAM with Mid-Atlantic.
No kidding. So we've interviewed a lot of people on this show, and some of them have been doing this for a very, very long time. I don't think quite as long as you, but what's the longest you've ever heard of somebody being in this business? Do you know if anybody's been in it longer than you?
Oh, yeah. Right around 40 years, I'd have to say 40 or a little less. Some of the dedicated professionals, which is huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Being in this industry is not an easy task.
No, it's not. You gotta wear a lot of different hats, but it is a great industry. It really is.
It is.
Now, in your opinion, Diane, because obviously you've been doing it for a little bit, you know a thing or two about the management industry. What are the keys for a manager to have longevity in property management and not get burned out, crash and burn? What you think?
That's a really good question because it's really important. There are 4 or 5 key things to stay in this industry. It is a difficult industry to be in, but one of the things is to stay current. You have to keep learning. Things in the industry change all the time. Technology, construction, there's always something new coming. And CAI helps a lot with that, with their educational courses. So staying current in the industry and educated helps a lot. Don't take things personally. This is a tough business. People are tough. You're dealing with homeowners and their homes, and they're passionate about it. So sometimes they'll lash out. You can't take that personally. A lot of times they're mad at the situation. They're not mad at you. So that is key. Don't dwell on the negative. Focus on the positive. There are a lot of things that managers accomplish throughout the year for their clients. Focus on that rather than the negativity, and that will help a lot. Surround yourself with great vendors. There's a lot of terrific vendors out there, and they will do a good job for you. If you surround yourself with good vendors, they'll do a good job for your clients and they'll make you look good. And lastly is get a strong mentor. Everybody in this industry needs support. And a mentor will help in the long run. And it could be anybody in your company or even outside of your company. I had a call yesterday and I reached out to that I worked with in a different company to get advice and kind of bounce a situation off of. So use your resources.
Very good advice.
Very, very good advice. Wow, that's a lot. Now, if I could switch gears just a little, because, it's property management, you got to wear a lot of different hats. I said it earlier, and there is a lot going on there. It is tough. They'll aim a lot of stuff at you for a lot of answers to a lot of different types of questions. So we're smack in the middle of Women's History Month. Why is property management a good career path for females?
For a couple different reasons. You know, in property management, you are dealing with so many different aspects, and women, I hate to say this, but women can really multitask a lot better than men can.
It is so uncommon.
Your head, you know it's true. It is so true. You know, 1 minute you're dealing with a contractor, and then you're dealing with an angry homeowner, and then you're dealing with a water leak. It's a lot of things going on, and you have to change your gears very quickly throughout the day. And also, women are more intuitive. Each community is different, and they have their own personality. And so do boards, and boards ebb and flow. You could work with one board that's really laid back, and you can have another board that is very, very strict. So you kind of have to ebb and flow in how your boards work, and they change all the time. So I think for those reasons, women are a little better suited in this industry. Not that there aren't a lot of great male managers that are in the industry.
Okay. Thank you for walking that back a little.
Now, quick question for you. Following up on Steve's point, can you tell us what are some of the challenges specific to female property managers that can make it difficult to last on the job?
I would have to say that some folks and some cultures do not have respect for professional women. I have come across that occasionally. I was supervising an on-site community, and that particular culture did not respect women. So that is a little bit of a challenge. Also, some women do take situations a little too personally. As I mentioned before, boards ebb and flow. You need to be flexible. You need to kind of form yourself around their personality. And some women have a hard time doing that. You can't take things personally. If you do, it's really going to be stressful on you, and you're not going to last in the industry. You need to compartmentalize. You need to kind of put things in a box. And when that situation is done, you have to put that box on the shelf and move on. So, and relationships with boards, you have to have a balance. You want to keep it professional. You want to be friendly, but you can't kind of go over that line and get too friendly. Not your best friends.
Right.
They're professionals, and you have to keep that professional relationship. You want things to be friendly, but you have to remember where to draw the line.
That's a good point.
It's a very good point. You want to be friends with everybody, but yeah, no, you're right. You have to keep it at that certain level. You gave us a lot of good advice for both men and women in the management field. Really, thank you so much for that. It's a complicated job. It's a complicated career, and it does get very, very personal. These are people's homes. This is where they live, so they can get very emotional about it. We do like to give our guests an opportunity to recognize somebody in their life or in their career. So we want to turn the mic over to you, Diane. And maybe you could just give a shout out to somebody who's been influential in your career, in your path to where you've been, where you are now. Can you do that for us? Maybe a woman. It's Women's History Month.
Actually, I'd love to give a shout out to two specific people. As I mentioned earlier, I started my career with Mid-Atlantic Management. Steve Castle, who was the founder of Mid-Atlantic Management, was a huge mentor for me. He kind of set the groundwork, and I even refer back to him. He was very well known, and he really set the standard with a lot of people in the industry. Gail Van Dyke was a huge mentor for me as well. And I think Gail would probably say Steve was a good mentor for her. But I worked many, many years with Gail as well. And she was amazing, and how she handled herself professionally. So, you know, just going back to those two, back to back with Mid-Atlantic, they were icons in the industry. And I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to work with both of them and learn from both of them.
Well, that's a very nice shout out. We appreciate you jumping in this Monday morning with us on the show, Diane. We hope that the rest of your week goes fantastically. Same to you, Steve. In the meantime, I think I'm going to put my shades back on, get some Tylenol, and go back to bed.
All right. We'll see you guys next week on Community Association Car Chat.